Guys and girls, it's Know It Time!
Alright, so today I'm going to be teaching you about how to do the vertex form, and this will wrap everything on vertex form. So this is vertex form part 2. Yesterday I taught you about how to work with a parabola by looking at it and you saying, hey, I can see the vertex. But I didn't really have a chance to finish everything on it with you yet. So yesterday I taught you basic things. Y equals to. I taught you what happens there's a negative there. Let's say x minus. Maybe there's a letter here, p squared plus q. Okay. But today I'm going to teach you about there's this weird letter in front of the bracket A. What does that mystery letter do? Okay. Now, before I get started with A, I'm just going to look at this concept and do a quick summary. If I look at this question, what's the vertex of this going to be? Just based on this question right here. Let's see who can figure this one out. P and Q is actually correct. Okay, so we don't need numbers. This, remember, represents my x-coordinate. So my vertex is P because we did the opposite. And this represents Q. Hey, that's it. But now, we know that this number right here, I'm going to highlight this thing. This thing flips it upside down. Flips it. Okay. Flips it. Okay, keep it simple, nothing too bad. The question is, what does the A value do? What does that A value do? In order for me to answer this question, we're going to create a little table of values, and we're going to analyze what this A value does to it. So we're going to compare two equations. Y equals to x squared, okay, versus y equals to 2x squared. So I want to see what that little 2 does into my... We're going to draw a table of values back to the old school days. Again, this is good practice because it shows you numerically what that A value does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my table of values just like old times. X, Y. X, Y. We're going to use the basic numbers that I've always been working with. Let's use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Guys, let's take a minute. Fill in the Y column for me. We're going to do this exact same thing. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So I'm going to let you do this on your own. I'm going to walk around and just watch you to see if you're doing it correctly. I'm going to pause my recording. So take a few minutes and just fill in the table on your own. So guys, I walked around and here's what I noticed. Some of you said, hey, this will be 4, 1, 0, 1, and 4, which is correct. Now, when I have this 2, remember we do the BEDMAS. We do the exponents first. If you did this correctly, this should be 8. 2, 0, 2, and 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a graph. And to understand how this works, let's draw a nice big sketch. And we'll try to make it as accurate as possible this time. Okay. Label 1, 2, 3. -1, -2, -3. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm trying to make it as accurate as I can this time, just to show you what it happens. So what I want you to do is plot this on this graph, please. Okay, we're going to plot this on this graph. I'm going to use different colors. Let's use red. Here's 0, 0. 1, 1, 2, 4, right here. So I'm going to draw it in. And just draw a nice curve. Very, very nice. Keep it easy. Keep it simple. And keeps on going, of course. This is y equals to x squared. I want you to plot this table of values onto the same grid. Y equals to 2x squared. And we're going to see how the 2 affects it. Okay, I'm going to use blue this time. 0, 0. 1, 2. 2, 8. And go ahead, draw in your dots. And draw in the best curve you can. This here is y equals to 2x squared. So now the question becomes, how does adding a 2 affect your graph? Think about it. How does it affect your graph? This 2, what it does is it stretches this graph vertically. So imagine you take 2 hands and pull this graph. What you get is this. So this 2, let's highlight this 2 right now. Y equals to 2x squared. Highlight this. This here is vertical expansion. This is my vertical expansion. i.e., it makes your graph narrow. It makes your graph narrow. That's called vertical expansion. I want you to predict what the graph would look like if I give you y equals to 0.5 x squared. So what would the graph look like? We're going to draw a rough sketch. Here is my y equals to x squared. Guys, gals, I want you to predict what would 0.5 x squared look like. Would it make it narrower or would it make it a bit more wide? Less narrow. So draw it in. Do try to use a different color. So 0.5 really is smaller than 1. So which means I'm compressing it. Because you're like, so imagine you have 2 hands right now. One hand here, one hand here. Imagine you're squishing your 2 hands together. What happens to this parabola when you squish it together? It gets a bit more wide. Okay. So right here, this is y equals to 0.5 x squared. Shorter, yes. But really you won't be able to tell because it gets so wide. That's why. What if I give you this? Y equals to negative 4x squared. Is this expansion or compression? Hands up for expansion. 1, 2, 3. Hands up for compression. This is actually an expansion. But somebody say, hey, so what about this negative? This negative, remember, tells a different story. This negative has nothing to do with it. This negative tells you that this is upside down. Upside down. Okay. This number is called the expansion number. So I'm going to write a few notes for you. Expansion. Y equals to a x squared. If a is greater than 1, I don't care about the negative sign, by the way. I just look at the number. If a is greater than 1, then you have an expansion. Ignore the negative sign. I just look at the pure number itself. If a is between 0 and 1, this is called a compression. How you draw on your graph? Well, it's really hard to tell. So just try your best. Try this for me. Y equals to negative 0.75 open bracket x plus 4 squared plus 10. I want to draw a rough sketch. Vertex, min, max, and axis of symmetry. Guys, gals, good luck. Every number tells a story. Find the story behind each number. I'm going to pause it while you do your work, and I'm just going to walk resume. Alright, so if I draw a rough sketch, I know that this is a compression. Forget the negative sign. The negative sign tells a different story. So this is my vertex is negative 4 and 10. I draw it downward, but instead I draw a bit wider than normal. Okay, just a bit wider than normal. Voila. My vertex is negative 4, negative 10. Oop, positive 10, I mean. Jason, what's your min? Negative infinity is correct. Who haven't I picked on today? Malika, what's your max? 10 is correct. Axis of symmetry. Crystal, what's your axis of symmetry? X, you have to say x equals to. Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, I didn't hear you. No, sorry, I didn't hear you again. X equals to what? No, sorry, I didn't hear you again. X equals to what? Oh, now I heard you. X equals to negative 4. Not 4. Because remember, the axis of symmetry is imagine where's the imaginary line. Chop in half. Right there. That's called your axis of symmetry. Where is that line going to be? It occurs when x equals to negative 4, not when anything else. Okay. So guys, question, madam.
Can you draw the original, the x equals y equals x squared?
Y equals x squared on here?
Yeah.
On the same grid?
Yeah.
It looks something like this. Y equals x squared looks something like that.
Or like the flip side.
Oh, the flip. So let's use blue. Right here? Right there. I tried to draw a bit wider. Like I said, it's not important about this was when you draw, it's really hard to say how narrow you should draw it unless you have the key points, right? So when you draw a rough sketch, the whole point of rough sketch is just to get these numbers. Okay? Guys and gals, let's work backwards this time. Let's see how we can do this one. My vertex is 5, negative 6. Your max is going to be infinity. Your min is going to, well, you don't need a min. I'm going to ask your a value. I'm giving you an a value. Is going to be 2. Your task is to find the equation of the parabola. I'm working backwards now. This is all I'm giving to you. Your job is to come up with the equation. Good luck. See how you can solve this one. Give you just a minute. Just try it on your own. What's the equation going to be? I'll give you a hint because I'm a nice guy. Your hint is this. Y equals to something. The rest is up to you. So what is, take a wild guess. Loveline, take a guess. What is it going to be?
Y is equal to 2
Yep. Keep going.
x plus 5.
X plus 5 like this.
Bracket.
Brackets, yep.
And power 2
Yep.
plus, oh, sorry,
Negative 6. Hey, that's it. Oh, something now people don't agree with you. They say, hey, Mr. No, what's wrong with this one? Negative 5. Because remember, everything is reverse. If this is positive, this has to be negative. Because when you write it in the brackets, everything has to be reversed. Voila. Okay, now people agree with you. So guys, a bit more challenging. See, this question was easy. I give you the A value. What if I give you a simple grid like this? And I give you a parabola. And I'm going to say this point right here is going to be 3, 2. I'm going to tell you that there's a point that this parabola goes right through. This point right here, we'll take a guess. We'll say this is going to be 5, 4. Okay, I know for a fact that there's a point right here. I'm giving you the points. Your question now is, find the equation of this parabola. This, first person to get this correct, I'm going to give you. So, here's my guess. I walked around and Serena says, hey, Miss No, my A value is 1, right? And I think it was Harmeet. No, Lavraj? Wait. No, Harmeet. Harmeet, your vote was an A value of 2, right?
No, it's 0.5.
Oh, it's 0.5? Sammy says 0.5. So you're saying you're changing it? Okay, so let's change this. Any other guesses for the A value? I'm going to show you how to get the A value next. Alright, I have 2 guesses. So we know my formula is always given by this y equals to A, open bracket, x minus p squared plus q. Guys and gals, for now, I want you to fill in what you know. Only thing you know is the vertex. So plug in for that p and q. That's the only thing I know. Y equals to A, open bracket, x minus 3 squared, question, plus 2. No worries. So guys, now the problem is, how do you find A? I'll give you an A has to do with something, there's a mystery. I give you an extra point. Would you agree that if I give you x and y value, you can just plug it in and you get A? Okay, if I give you the value for x, the value for y, all you have to do is find A. Hey, guess what these numbers represent? X and y. Oh, tricky, tricky. This is my x value. This is my y. You cannot use the vertex numbers. This doesn't work. You have to use another point on the graph that you know for sure. So let's plug this in. So 4 equals to A, open brackets. I'm just plugging in right now. X is 5. 5 minus 3 squared plus 2. Guys, gals, go ahead, solve it now. And we'll see who's right. Take your time. 4 equals to A. Watch, you got to do brackets first. So this is going to be 2 squared. Take it nice and easy. Plus 2. I'm going to leave this for you to solve now. You can solve this on grade 9 math. Show me that you passed grade 9 by solving for A. Okay. 0.5? Oh, yeah. Oh, now we all say 0.5. So A is indeed 0.5. Good job, Sammy. Sammy, this is yours. You get a chocolate butter scotch. All yours. Okay, so watch what I'm going to do. I move this 2 over. 4 minus 2 equals to A to power 4. 2 equals to 4A. A equals to 1 half. You cannot leave it like that. You got to rewrite your equation properly. So you're going to say y equals to 0.5, open bracket, x minus 3 squared plus 2. This is your final answer. I want the whole equation, not just a equals to something. See, I resub it in. Guys, gals, that is quadratics. Easy? Yeah, it's pretty easy. Really fun stuff. One more question, then I'm going to assign some work for you to do, and we're done for today. For lunch. Again, let's say my graph. Notice one thing. My graph is facing upward. And look at this. It turns out such that A is positive. If my graph is facing downward, it's guaranteed that your A will be negative. So let's say I have a graph facing downward. And I'm going to give you this point for sure, you know. This is going to be negative 4, comma 4. And let's say it crosses the x-axis. You know this point for sure. This point is going to be at negative 2, comma 0. Because I know that for sure. Your value, A value, you know that will be negative no matter what happens because the graph is facing downward. Guys, gals, try to find the equation now. I'm going to pause it again, let you try it on your own. Just set up this question. I know my vertex. Always start off with the vertex equation. Y equals to A, open bracket, x plus 4. Sorry? A equals 1 squared plus 4. That's the first thing you should have. If you have that, halfway there. Only thing I'm missing is A. To find A, look at your graph. I will give you a graph and you have to choose a point. Any point you like on the graph. I'm going to choose this point because I know exactly what the key number is right there. Negative 2, 0. Plug it in. 0 equals to A. This is going to be negative 2 plus 4 squared plus 4. If you did this correctly, A should be negative 1. Okay. And if you're lost, say, Mr. Know how, you go negative 4 equals to 4A. Okay. This thing simplifies into 4A. Move the 4 over, and that becomes negative 4. So do not leave like that. You're going to rewrite it as y equals to negative 1 x plus 4 squared plus 4. See? Hey, look. Minus 1. My graph faces upside down, so I know I have to do it right. Easy. Guys and gals, we're going to take a break. Let you have to do some work. And I'm going to let you continue on this at lunch. But for now, I want you to do some extra practice. Page. After lunch, I'm going to go over word problems with you. And then I'm going to show you how to do complete the squares. And that's it for today. Page 157. We're going to continue on. You are going to do number 8. And number 9. Guys, gals, get some practice with those practice questions. After lunch, I'm going to give you about 10 minutes more to work on this. And then I'm going to do some word problems with you. So for now, I'm going to pause my recording right